All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Hockey Jersey Addicts. It's Dan, aka Van Can Fan 75, and today I have the pleasure to be talking with an amazing designer from Edmonton, Alberta, Janet Deane. Janet, say hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Virtually, audibly, in COVID times, this is as best as we can do. But just for those listeners at home, Janet has an amazing background right now that has a lot of really cool sculptures of Jersey Bus. She's got a showcased jersey in a case. She's got some other really cool art behind her that's digital art collages. And all of that is her work. All of that is her projects. Janet is one heck of an incredible designer and innovator and even pioneer. I want to go on record and say, I'm pretty sure you're the first artist in North America to be manipulating with digital art going way back.
You know what? I've been in this industry for a long time. So without giving my age, I've been in it for over 25 years. So when I was first creating and when I was first doing artwork, hockey art, I was painting. So I was doing a lot of painting, and it was a combination of gouache. So it's like a thick watercolor. And I combined it with photographs. And I actually thought I would just show one here just so you can have an idea. Yeah. So this was one that I did.
Wow.
So as you can see.
Oh, is that the Dominator? Yes, it is.
Yeah. So this is, so the parts, it's hard. The coloring is a little bit weird on here, but this one was created in a large painting. Each one was so the D, the O, the M, they were pretty big. Like the originals were pretty big, and they represented the D with, actually, let me just lift it up again. So D was December to Remember, and the O was for Olympics. Good as gold.
Nice.
And the M was for MVP because he was most valuable player. And so this one was the one that I created, and it was used to raise money for the Variety Club of Buffalo. And JD, John Davidson with Fox, I contacted him and I said, hey, John, would you mind showing this artwork? We're trying to use it to raise money for the Variety Club of Buffalo. He said, send it to my hotel. And so we sent it to his hotel. And during the Detroit Red Wings playoffs, he showed it, and they sold over $150,000 worth. It was fantastic. But that was a style that I did. It was called paintography. And I did that for quite a few years. And I created paintographies of John Elway and quite a few local Edmonton Oilers players, Bill Guerin. And then I needed to do something else. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try something new. And so I decided to try a digital kind of format, digital design. And so I did that, and I submitted it to the NHL, and no one was doing it. When I say no one was creating that style, what was being done was people were taking photographs. And I'm sure you remember a long time ago, it would be like a photograph, and they would just kind of put them together and, maybe just seam it together somehow. It just wasn't artistic. And so I was the first artist to do digital art. And I created digital artworks of like Messier, Mario Lemieux. So that's like And what was unique about what I did was in each of the designs, I would always put milestones, achievements, trophies, and you would look at it really close, and you could actually see subliminal information player. And I did different sizes, so we had little signables, and so quite a few different sizes, and then of course big huge canvases and paper prints. And so those were licensed by the NHL, and they were sold on NHL.com. And we actually someone ordered a Mike Comrie, and it was from Budapest. So we shipped it all the way to Budapest. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were Budapest hockey fans of Mike Comrie. That's pretty out there, but that just goes to show the power of the work. It's like, I think I know the reach, but I have no idea the scope, and this might just take off,
Yeah. Well, and that was exciting. So we, from there, from creating the digital art, a lot of people were starting to do it. So I noticed big companies, they started to do things that were similar to what I was doing. In the meantime, I was doing commissions. So I was doing commissions for players, Chris Versteeg for his 500th NHL game, Marian Hossa, Vinny Prospel. He received his on the ice.
That was a really amazing thing. And his reaction to it is just like, what? This is incredible. Like, it's really cool.
He was awesome. And even talking to him on the phone, he says, every time I walk by it, I see something new. And that's when I create these for these players, that's to me so exciting. I want them to love it, and I want them to find something unique every time they look at it. And he was pretty excited about his. So, that's, I can keep going on.
Well, I mean, I just love the journey. I know that we're probably only halfway through it. I just want to comment quickly by saying, like, it's really cool what you've been doing to kind of push the envelope. I definitely remember what you're talking about with, like, the pictures getting cut together and then color copied together to make a collage. Guilty as charged, sixth grader, like, pre-internet like projects at school. I'd be cutting magazines up, collaging them together. I thought it was like the coolest thing. Right? And I just remember, like, that being just a really creative outlet for me and being really enjoying it. But I never personally had the skills, like, in my hands to really put pen to paper that way. And I'm too much of a perfectionist. And then all of a sudden, when computers became a thing and digital became a thing, I was like, all right, actually, I can play in this space. Like, I can enter key numbers and get the line exactly straight and how long I want it and stuff. And I was like, this is going to be something. So it's
well, and I love it. I love the whole concept of creating. And I know my dad has always said to me, you make it look so easy. Like, you make it look easy. When you create something, it just looks like it was easy. And I'm like, it was not easy. I mean, I put in, in some artworks, I put in at least 100 hours into creating, just trying to combine. This is a small version of Chris Versteeg's.
Oh, cool.
And when you
there's so much in there.
There's so much in here. And, to even capture his family and of course, there we go. The 500.
Yeah.
And to really capture everything that was important to him, that it's not simple. It's definitely not a simple process. But now, after I've been doing all these digital arts and creating all of this and getting annoyed that everyone else is doing this similar stuff, I decided that I wanted to use a different medium. Like, instead of doing it on a canvas or paper, I thought, I'm going to put it on a jersey. So I ended up deciding to try putting the art on a jersey instead of on paper and canvas. And that's where the idea behind putting art on a jersey came from.
And that's, so I just want JAC Designs jersey.
Well, that was a prior, like, I used that term before. I don't use it anymore. I did go on the Dragon's Den with that, but when I first created it, I created a Kovalchuk. And
from the Thrashers. Yep.
Yeah. And and I did that in 2007. So quite a while. Yeah, quite a while ago. And I was at the All-Star game. We used to go to quite a few of the All-Star games. So that was love going to the All-Star games. Oh my gosh. And we would usually take our daughters, and we would always go. The Atlanta one, I took my son, he was just a baby, and the Atlanta Thrashers jersey that we did. I do have it somewhere here. Oh, it's in the back.
Yeah, I can see it in the background.
Yeah. So that jersey was created, and we were actually going to sell it at the event. So we were all set and ready to sell it at the event, and we had full approval and everything was ready to go. And at the last minute, something happened and we weren't able to sell it. And so that was kind of a, let down. And we came back and, we had all these signed jerseys, and I can tell you that it was not a very good situation with what happened, and there were some people involved. So when you talk about women in sport, being in this industry for as long as I have been, it has not been easy. And when I think about all the ups that I've had just as many downs, and they have been purposely, because maybe not necessarily because I'm a woman, but certain things have happened and things were allowed to happen. And because I was not where I am today, where I would actually stand up for myself with those situations, I think that things would have been different. So that was the Kovalchuk jersey. And then I ended up doing other jerseys as well. I did Team Canada for the women's.
Yeah, that was amazing. You did a Hawks one as well, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Oilers or the Chicago Blackhawks one. So we actually created them in a box. So the jerseys would come in a box. And then this is
It's insane. It's just so cool. There's so much on that.
Jersey. Well, so when you look at it, it's the same kind of concept as to what I did with the digital art.
Yeah.
So the thing about it was, making sure. So that was the amount of Stanley Cups that they won. The 5
United Centers on there.
Oh yeah, we made sure to make sure every single player. So on the sleeve, every single player is in here. And then we also made sure to have every single person that was involved in the championship. So you have everybody in here from the corporate sponsors, the names of the people of the corporate sponsors, the training and equipment staff, even finance.
Wow. My buddy Matt Kiefer's probably on there. That's pretty funny. Sean Kiefer,
What department was he in? He
was in sales. So he was part of like corporate sponsorships for a few years. He definitely has a cup ring.
His name?
Sean Kiefer. So I wonder if he's on there. Yeah, nice. That's amazing.
Sean Kiefer, Keefer.
Yeah. I played hockey with him for like 5 years in Chicago. That's nuts.
Yeah. So he's in here. So that was really important too. And we also, in this design, I also had Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. Because he has like corner seats near the glass and stuff.
Huge fan. Yes. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I better get permission if we're going to create these jerseys. And I reached out to his agent, and just before going to print, we had to go to print. And so there wasn't enough time. I got a response back afterwards, and he loved it.
Okay, good.
In the meantime, I went, you know what? I actually don't want Vince Vaughn in this artwork. I think I'm going to go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay.
I contacted Make-A-Wish in Illinois, and I said, listen, I'm doing a collectible jersey. It's a artwork. And I said, and I would love to give an opportunity to one of your Make-A-Wish, one of the kids, to be in the design. And
awesome.
Within a day, they were absolutely amazing. They sent me beautiful photos of the family. And within 1 day, I had photos, and we were able to put a little guy named Nicholas.
Oh, wow.
Right there.
Oh my gosh. So what a great thing. Oh,
and
man.
That's his mom and sister, right?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was amazing. Like to me, that was more important than Vince Vaughn. So, and then of course I put Dean on the back of this one.
Of course, as you do.
Yeah, so this one was a really nice print. And then we did do another red one. I only created 10.
Okay.
But I never actually went and did anything with the jerseys. That's the one behind me.
Okay.
So I just created 10. So I just have 10 artist proofs of that. And then I did a Glenn Anderson.
Yes.
So Glenn Anderson.
The blue skated Glenn Anderson.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So the Glenn Anderson jersey, this was to honor his, I guess they put I think we did it for the
jersey retirement.
Yeah. It was for the evening. And this was quite a job. We put his Hockey Hall of Fame images in it as well.
That's really cool.
And then we actually created. So he really liked this concept too. So from every jersey I created, I also created artwork for it. So that way you could have. There we go.
Especially after all those hours, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, exactly. So this one, of course, you could see that's the back or front, and then that's the back of it, and then he autographed. So he sold these as well. So and that was a fun project to do too, because there were a lot of important things that we had to include in it, and he even wanted his daughter in there.
Oh, neat.
So, yeah, a lot of the designs, a lot of the things that I've done, there's always some little hidden things. Most of the time when I create something for a player, it's usually not for resale. I mean, of course these jerseys were, but usually when I create something for a player, it's just for their own use. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really cool the level of detail you take these things to. I think what's prominent around the hockey jersey community is people just become avid collectors and then become very acquired taste and then start looking for like discernible differences or unique factors into what they want to collect. And the designs I always love the most are the ones that don't just take the project that were assigned to them and do the job. They take it to the next level. They try to hide things in it or get that little smirk from the player because of like the inside story that you find out and stuff like that. To me, that just is a great example of an artist showing that they truly care. Because it's like, there's no other way you would have gotten any of this stuff if I just stopped at page 1 of the Google search results and looked at you from Wikipedia, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really, really cool. I don't know if a lot of people really appreciate or care that much. And I just want to say thank you, because to look through those designs is really, really neat. And one of the things that I think, especially for jerseys like yours that are clearly so good that they are displayable, is I have jersey cases and I have them where they're able to be swapped out intentionally, because after a little while I get bored of looking at it and I want something else in there. I see yours as kind of like the Where's Waldo in a way, where it's like you could look there and there's absolutely what you're looking for, but there's like this whole other side quest you can do. And if you look like closely, like there's just history in there. There's special moments, milestones like you're talking about. I think that's very clever, good attention to detail. And
thank you.
I think what's really neat about it is in just standing there, you can immerse yourself in the history, and you can immerse yourself in like the history of that team or that player. And I'm bringing up the word immerse to kind of help us also transition to what you're working on right now, which is really, really, really interesting. It's this website called Personalized Me. And what it allows you to do is take pictures of yourself and immerse them in some kind of moment that is representative of your team's history. So why don't you talk a little bit about the offerings that you're doing and the idea and how that came about? Because you're not stopping, you're innovating all the time. And that's a really cool thing too.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. So years ago, I'll just give you a little quick history. So years ago, there was a product called I'm the Star. And I'm not sure if you remember that. And it was a celebration on the ice. And you would be celebrating with your favorite team. So we're talking as far back with Michael Pekka, Ryan Smith, the Oilers. That's how far back I created that. So that was my product. And so you could order a print and you could put your name on the back of the jersey. And these were prints that were sold at Costco, Walmart, Home Shopping Channel. They were sold everywhere. And so when I originally came up with that concept, I actually didn't come up with that original concept. What I wanted to do is I wanted to make you the player. We didn't have the technology to do it then. So when I think back of the first time I presented it to the NHL, it makes me laugh because the fellow who I know there, who I deal with, I sent him an image of that picture because I had it still. And I said, do you remember this? And he says, yeah. And he says, my son is, playing professional baseball now. Like that's how he was only 10 years old when I created that concept and I showed it. And so, now that is done and over with, I'm the Star was the product. If you watch the Dragon's Den, if you saw me on the Dragon's Den show, that was the story that I shared about having this concept and, that whole story. So now the Personalized Me is we have the technology to be able to upload you now and put you into a design. And so, creating the locker room where you can upload and be in a locker room. I mean, if there was ever a time right now, to be able to offer that and give fans an opportunity to get closer to the team they love. It's now, because it's going to be a long time before anyone even gets to go in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can basically take a photo, upload yourself, and position yourself. You can put a message and then order a print and send it to a loved one, surprise them. And I mean, there's going to be people who will say, well, that's not the real thing. You know what? It's irrelevant. When you think about the excitement, you think about, like, I think about my own dad. You know, he's never been in the locker room of his favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
And will he ever get there? Probably not. But would he be surprised if he all of a sudden got a print of himself and he's in the locker room? Here's I'll show you quickly. So,
aw, that's adorable.
So this is a little guy in the locker room, and for his birthday, this is my cousin's little boy, Max.
Oh.
Biggest hockey fan you can imagine for a little 3-year-old. And so you don't think he hasn't seen this yet,
Okay.
but he's pretty excited when he sees himself in there. So, and then we have other designs as well. So not just the locker room. You probably had a look. One
Mm-hmm.
of the things that we're offering right now is the opportunity to lift up the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Tampa Bay first, but we will have every single team that has ever won the Stanley Cup, and you will have so much fun. I mean, imagine telling a little kid,
Right.
lift your arms in the air,
Right.
and then you take the picture, and you can position yourself with your finger and make yourself big or small. It's just so fun. It's an interactive, it's just an interactive wall art. You know, you get to create your own wall art by, you can do it yourself, and it's so fun. And so we also have right now Stanley Cup. So you can stand with the Stanley Cup. So right now, I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm used to that only being available to me if I live or have access to get to Toronto and go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And I mean, this is like way more accessible for people in Budapest. So
Yeah, kidding. Yeah, exactly. And we have a Zodiac also. So one of the things that I really wanted to do is do some cross branding. So like, you know, try to combine different things. And so we created a Zodiac. Now, because I've been in this industry for, you know, over 25 years, years ago, I'll just kind of give you a quick little story. My daughter was 1 year, about a year and a half, and she was sitting on my lap while I painted Andy Moog's artworks. And his was the same as what I did with Dom. It was a MOOG.
Nice.
And each one represented the team he played for. Amazing. I think back of that one. That was one of my favorite.
That's really
designs.
cool.
And she's sitting on my lap, and one of her first words were hockey, because she used to be, I mean, my kids were so,
wow.
I mean, everything was always about hockey. And now she's 21 and she's an artist.
Oh, wonderful.
And she wants to be a tattoo artist. And so I said to her, you know what? I said, design me some symbols, some Zodiac symbols, and show me what it, you know. And so she showed it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I put it into a design. And so she did all 12 Zodiac symbols, and now that's in my NHL Zodiac artwork. And so here's.
One would say she's killing it with the Zodiac signs. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that design, cool. It's kind of, boy, this is so big. So that Zodiac design right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's hard to, okay, there we go. So that's just one of the Zodiac designs. So she provided it to me, and then we created the artwork. So we're trying to create some really unique artworks. And that's one of the things that we were told, you know, by the NHL, was that they'd like the more artwork designs. You know, they don't want to just see logo art. And so that's what we're trying to do, is give designs that are artistic and creative, and also an experience as well. So that's where the locker room comes in. Yeah,
but I mean, even just getting a jersey from your team can make you feel like more part of the team. So I think what you're doing is just kind of help bridging that connection between the fan and the team. And I think that's wonderful.
Well, you're right. And one of the things that you just said it, all these people have all these jerseys, and, you know, you put on your jersey, how fun would it be? You get to take a picture, put on your jersey, and put yourself in, like, I'd put a Vegas one on and put it in and go in the Vegas locker room and have that hanging up. I think that'd be so awesome. I mean, you think about it, actually, that would be kind of a neat promotion to do with Adidas jerseys. I should.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, so I don't expect a lot of my listeners to know this, but besides being a little bit of a graphic designer, my background is in experiential marketing. So I'm always trying to come up with like fun ways to have a marketing thing be more engaging with the person going through it. And I'm a super nerd. So most of the stuff that I'm very interested in is like augmented reality and virtual reality. And I can't help but notice too, that starting last year's playoffs and now into this season, the hockey player game worn jerseys have a cutout in the back shoulder for a chip that's tracking their metrics and stuff like that. Yeah. And now they're bridging into wearable technologies. And I'm like, just let me at it, man. I know some really cool things that would be unreal. And I think some cool ways of also, just from your personal background, how protecting your own art is very important, how fakes are a real problem, and how you want to try to offer some kind of solution with your design that also makes it proprietary or harder to copy.
You hit it on the head. Like that. You hit it right on the head, because no one right now, like I've had so many people email me and ask me if I still have any more of the Chicago Blackhawk jerseys. And I said, I don't even know where to tell you to get one. Yeah. You just hit it on the head. There are so many knockoffs when it comes to jerseys. You cannot knock off one of my jerseys because you would have to own the file.
There's no way.
And you can't print it. So the only way that you can knock it off is if you somehow copy the fabric. You can't. It just won't work. So when you talk about a collectible and you talk about, a certain number, a limited edition, that's it. Like there's no more unless you go and print more. There's no more. So knockoff jerseys, that's frustrating.
I know that's a trigger word for a lot of us. And the reason I brought it up was just because I think the access to technology now and what you're working on, and in the space that we all live in now, where the concept of having a person on the other side of the world have the educational wherewithal to use a computer to design their print before sending it to you did not exist 10 years ago. We could not rely on that person having the computer intellect to do that. But all of these phases of transitions in technology are allowing more possibilities. And I think the next big wave is going to be including in the tagging of jerseys some kind of chip that allows you to easily scan and watch highlights of that player. Or if you have a certain design that works with apps that work with augmented reality, that when you put the phone over it, like it can only be read.
You're talking about stuff that we're already.
Yeah. Like there's legit projects going on, I'm sure. Like, I'm talking to people like you all the time. I'm definitely in that headspace right now. There's definitely. I don't want to cut you off. Tell me what you can right now.
You know what? I can't.
Oh, damn it! Oh man.
I can't, but I can tell you that there's definitely some, there's some exciting stuff down the line, and what you're talking about. I mean, I think about so far back, and I think about these concepts and these ideas that I had so long ago. And I'm thinking, if I could have done it then, that would have been pretty amazing. But there's always timing for certain things. So I'll just leave it at that. There's timing.
Okay. Right.
So, and I think too, when I look at who has my jerseys right now, you never know, it might be something pretty valuable in the future.
I mean, trust me, I collect stuff that you can't buy anymore, that was limited production. Like the cost is always what you will pay, but the fact that they can't be reproduced, and the longer time goes on, the more end up at a yard sale or in the attic, and no one collects it anymore. Like I know there was 500 originally made, maybe there's only still 250 left in circulation. So it's all very rare, and I love that part of it. But I can't get over your design from the standpoint of not only are you pioneering like that collage idea and just the fact that you could make a jersey like that, I think was kind of lost on the Dragon's Den people, where they're like, wait, you make them for this and sell them for that? I'm like, yeah, but you guys don't understand that what she just did at that time, like no one else is doing. So the cost hasn't come down yet for her to make it more like this. She is the pioneer behind it. So like, what was the, like, were you kind of, when you sat down to do those JAC design jerseys and the ones that you like, were you like, I need to play with what's possible right now and push the envelope of what's possible? Or did you kind of research ahead of time and be like, I think I can do this and I'm going to find out when it's done?
Well, you know what I did is I have an amazing person who I've dealt with. I met her and her family since I think I was about 15 was when I first met her. And her and her husband, they're the people who I would get my things manufactured. So they were my contacts if I needed to manufacture anything. Like I've had so many different things, created samples. I mean, I even did a couple Dixie Chick dolls. Because I was trying to see, that's a whole other story. So I basically went, okay, this is what I'm going to create. I want a box. I want a collectible box, because one of the things that was important was this. So wear your hero on your sleeve /wall. Mm-hmm. And so my thought behind it was, this is artwork. It's supposed to be hung up on a wall. You can wear it if you want, sure, but it's art. And instead of a canvas or paper, I'm putting it on a jersey. So I want you to hang it up on a wall. So we had certificates. We had mini prints. The mini print was really important. That came with the artwork. So if you look at that Chicago red one behind me, that little mini print is important, because if you do hang it up and you only show the front, we have the mini print so you can show the back.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
So that's why I did that. So I thought of everything. 5 factories. It took 5 factories to create the jerseys. So we had the actual embroidered logos, the patches. Those were all custom made. Patches on the shoulders, numbers, everything was custom made. We didn't order them from a pre-made. Everything was custom made. So the tag that hung from the jersey. So let me pull it here. So even the tag that hung here.
Yeah, so, I think that's so cool.
And where's Jack? Where's Jack? So I didn't even tell you about that.
Was this part of like a campaign to kind of help the jerseys?
Said, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Okay, where's Jack?
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So the whole concept, when you talk about price and you talk about how much it costs to make all this, it's not cheap, that's for sure, but it was reasonable. And on the Dragon's Den, after the show, and I felt like I was pretty close to getting a deal with Jim. He seemed pretty interested, and that was fine. That's, no big deal. It didn't work out, and everything happens for a reason. But after the show, oh my gosh, like my emails lit up. It was unbelievable. And I had wives asking me if I could do a jersey for their husbands. I had CFL, it was crazy. I had somebody from even the Humboldt Broncos.
Oh, cool.
There was somebody from that team. Like, there were all these different people reaching out. I had people who reached out to be my dragon.
Oh,
so,
nice.
hey, Emma, I'd love to talk to you about being. So I had out of Ontario, I had a couple out of Ontario, Quebec. So I had all these different people reach out to me, and I was like, this is so awesome. And I actually was going to have a viewing party for the Dragon's Den. So I had, there's a local place, and they had, it was all set up. And then I chickened out because I was scared that they were going to make me look stupid. Because I cried.
It's a real thing. I can, it's like what happened versus what the producers want you to.
Oh, I thought for sure they were going to make me look so stupid. So I chickened out and I canceled the viewing party because I didn't get the deal.
Was it at a Boston Pizza?
No, it wasn't.
Because that's Jim's business, right?
I know. Well, it's funny because they gave a gift card, a Boston Pizza gift card, as part of my loot, because they give you a bag after you're on the show. Cool. It was at, they shut down. Can't remember the name of a big, huge place, but they shut down recently. And I think probably because of COVID.
Right.
But anyways, after that, after that episode, I had all these people contacting me, and I ended up speaking to somebody in Calgary because I thought, oh, that's nice and close. And, he seemed like a legitimate business guy. He sold me, and I met him and his female business partner. Nice. And so they came, and I met them in Edmonton, and we were going to move forward. And as we were moving forward, I was still being talked to by somebody out of Ontario who wanted to, the guy in Ontario wanted me to mass produce my jerseys in a cheaper way. And I wasn't really interested in that. So I decided, okay, let's move forward with Calgary. Well, nobody knows this. And this is what really sucks, is nobody, as far as anyone was concerned, is I was on the Dragon's Den, didn't work out, and everything just failed because it was just awful. Well, what they didn't know was that after the show, months and months in negotiations and trying to see if we were going to move forward with this person in Calgary, I think we hit about the 7th month. And I said, what is going on here? Are we moving forward? And he says, oh, I'll send you an email tonight. And I knew right away, okay, great, here we go. So I get an email, and the whole thing, big, long email, we're not going to, I decided not to move forward and this and that. And then about a month, I was devastated. And about a month later, I contacted the female business partner because I didn't hear from her. She tells me, he already decided not to move forward with you a month in. And I said, a month in? And she says, yeah, a month in. And she says, he said he already got his money back. And I said, what money? The money I gave him to invest in you. And I went, did you get your money back? And she said, well, no, it's still in the company. So I guess he used me, to get money from his female partner. And in the end, I don't know where things are right now with what's going on there. I did contact the Dragon's Den. Like, I contacted CBC, and I was going to go public with it. And it was awful. And they said, let us know if you are. And I didn't, because the fellow, he had a boy, and I didn't want to do that to his son. I just thought, what, if I go public, if I do this to his son, what is that going to do to him? I just didn't want to do. I should have, because no one cared about me. He didn't care about me and my family and what he just did to me. So, I never did do anything.
Yeah, but good for you for not stooping to that level. And I mean, there's certainly it's a personal choice for you to know when to pull away, but I'm sure the same. I know you're talking about an area that I wanted to talk about, which was just like the issues that you have gone through to, not only stake your claim in that I deserve to be here, but also just like the adversity that you've had to face along the way. Notwithstanding, just someone loves your idea so much they copy it. That's imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, sure, until all of a sudden it means that you can't put food for your kids on the table or something like that. And then it gets super personal, right? I think one of the lines that really resonated with me when you were on Dragon's Den and I was listening to your debrief interview was just, you work on these things for so long, they become a part of you, And so you're 25 plus years. What is it about this that keeps you going? And what is it about it that, you've decided to keep in this industry for so long?
Well, that's a good question. I've been through a lot in my life, and, even before becoming an artist. And so you just kind of become stronger, and you just, I guess it's just kind of who I am. Never easy. And one of the reasons why I don't give up is because I have put so much into it. And it's almost like an investment of so much time and so much, so much of my ideas. And like, I've put so much into it. And one of the things that would be really awful is if I showed my kids that I gave up. And, I've got 3 kids, and I've had, like, my one daughter, she's went through a lot herself, and she's gone through her own situations, and she's also gone through boys club stuff with her sport, and really awful. And she's still continued to push forward. And she's, if I quit, like there are times that we both have talked and I said, okay, if you're ready to quit, I'll quit too. So, it's kind of like one of those things, but, very early on when I was first doing my art and creating, one of the things that I wanted to do with my art and my ideas is I always wanted to, like so many people in businesses, become, millionaire, become this multi-millionaire and be so successful. But it was never for the reasons so many people do want to. I'm pretty simple.
Sweet.
And I don't care about material things. What I do care about is I care about giving back, and I care about being able, it's so funny. I think about, there's so many times, like, I think there were certain projects that I was working on and opportunities that I had. And in my mind, I was thinking to myself, I can't wait, because I know what I'm going to do. I know where I'm going to put some of these dollars. I know what I want to do to be able to give back. And then the rug just taken right from under me. That still stands. I think about my grandmother, who's still alive. And I think about how strong she was and how she raised such amazing kids. My dad being one of them, and my aunt and my uncles, just amazing people. And I always think to myself, one day I would love to build a home and name it after her. And I just have such big dreams of things that are, if I can take the talent and if I can take my ideas to make the dollars to do all these things and make them happen. That's always been kind of who I am. So
that's really great. That's wonderful. I mean, I know that it's a mind shift for people to recognize that. I mean, it's a subjective thing. What is being successful? And some people would measure that with quantitative numbers, and that would turn into financial dollars, and that would be their way of seeing themselves as a success or not, which, if those are your metrics, it's devastating if you don't reach those goals. The other thing that's true, though, is if you hold your work to the standard where you want part of its success to be measured in how much it ripples throughout the hockey community, it can have a little bit of an effect on your responsibility for these things as well. Because if you've kind of in your head already said, and once I sell 1,000, I'll have enough money to do the thing, and that'll make all of these smiling faces light up. When you realize that's in jeopardy, all of a sudden you've invested so much in that feeling that it can become very difficult for you, Oh
yeah. Yeah. No, we, years ago, I created an artwork, a specific artwork, and it was made to raise money for kids. And that's what the whole idea was. And it took me about a month to create the artwork, and it was sabotaged. It was purposely sabotaged, and I wasn't able to sell it. And not only did I lose out, but so did all the kids.
Yeah.
There was an NHL hockey player that was behind it, and he really wanted to do something like that. He was the spokesperson for it. And it was purposely stopped. And, that to me, I look back and go, geez, that's not the first time. I'm hoping now it's going to be the last time, but it's not a simple thing. I just think that we're all here for a reason. And if we don't do at least one thing to make a difference in someone else's lives, I know I have. My artwork, I'm so lucky to have been able to contribute and help people use my art, my time to raise a lot of dollars. And you know what? I don't normally talk about it, but I brought it up in my little mini film. And I'm proud of it. Like, it's something that I'm proud of. And it's something that even with my kids, I have 3 kids, and each one of them have different levels as to what they do in the community and what they've done. And that's something that I've instilled in them. And that makes me proud. And I hope in sharing my story and sharing what I do, that it will encourage others to do and to do more. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, I mean, that's fantastic. And I am curious, have you been watching what's been happening with the NHL clubs in the last few months, specifically with, hey, we're taking the ice and we're warming up in this jersey design that will then be auctioned off to raise money for this thing. And it's a one-time jersey. So please go to our auction and start the bidding at $500 each. Have you kind of been seeing that?
I will admit, I've been so busy with my just getting everything launched. I haven't been watching a lot of that.
Okay.
I haven't been seeing a lot of it just because I'm so busy and I'm trying to do this. We do have just to go back, we do have a print that we're going to be introducing that we're hoping that the NHL will want to use it for their foundation. And It's a specific print where the dollars will go to their foundation, which is going to be Hockey Fights Cancer, I'm sure, whatever those ones are. But no, I haven't. I will admit, I haven't been watching those. I haven't been watching that. I have been seeing a lot of the retro jerseys. It all comes up on my social media, and I
sure.
And and I congratulate it. You see all these people, you see all these posts. It's exciting to me. The one thing that I will say that I've seen and I've watched it and I've, reading it and, you hear you hear fans hearing about the players, how they're getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some talk about how they're losing money. And when you have all these people losing dollars, the public are the ones that are going to miss out, because when people, like when you have players who normally do things for charity and they're not maybe getting the same dollar amounts, they're not going to do the same stuff that they did a few years ago for the charities, and they can't. And so, everything that they're trying to do to keep the NHL moving forward and generate revenue and this and that, it's so important. Like, people don't understand that from the top, it all helps. Like, it helps everybody. That's a
good point. I will add to that. For example, I've been trying to do some outreach for blind hockey just in general. Mm-hmm. And I have seen in the years past, there's a place for Hockey Is Everyone on every club's website. And if you go there, it would say some message to the effect of, we have money, tell us about your cause, apply here, and maybe we'll work with you. Yeah. And this year, it's very much, we have this organization, but we have determined how we're going to funnel that money towards a thing. And it's because they're no longer getting the same volume of donations. So it's like, this is now more like a budget. And we need to kind of keep the foundational programs we put in place afloat. So we want to help you out in our community. But guess what? The NHL, it just asked for a $1 billion loan. So just kind of, need to be aware of what's going on. So that's a perfect point. And the other reason I brought it up that I'm encouraged, though, is because I've been seeing these clubs reach out to these designers to create that jersey to raise those funds. And it's been a very positive thing. And I don't necessarily agree with the entry-level price being $500. That's not exactly the most equitable solution. But if you're looking for a way to kind of get a lot of people, 30-ish people, to raise $500 really quickly, seems that jerseys are a really big grab for people. Like, I don't get me wrong. I think it would be great to have a $20 t-shirt, and that way it's something I can more easily afford. And that money is also going to the cause. I'm just saying, I think it's interesting how within the fundraising that clubs are doing, they've completely identified that warm-up jerseys are a way for us to raise money. And it's either a brand new jersey or a patch. But what I've noticed is part of the compelling reason that people want to donate is because they don't want to see that the diversity and inclusion jersey isn't designed by anyone other than the original Sharks designer, Terry Smith, who's Black, who's working with the Hockey Diversity Alliance. Like, that whole story is also very good. And
it is. I mean, it's a piece of history.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. I agree. And it's fun that, even with the new jerseys and you can wear them. They're not big frumpy jerseys anymore.
Yeah.
You can wear them out. The amount of people we see out wearing jerseys, and they just look like, they look like jerseys, but they just seem to fit better, and they're just not the same as what they were before. I know the practice jerseys, if you get them made in Canada, the standard sublimated jerseys, they are pretty frumpy jerseys. So, but yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
And my last comment there, because you kind of started talking about it with the fit now, is one of the things that we have to hold the NHL accountable for is women's fit jerseys. Because yes, it's great that they're available, but for some reason, the way that those are produced is not necessarily to the same quality standard. So it's like, yeah, we love giving women the option of jerseys, but we're also not going to make it to the same standard of quality as our general audience. And it's like, so how do you plan on growing the sport if always the optics are, we only care about you enough to give you what you want, but not to the same level? And it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
You got to think about those things, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like when you talk about jerseys, this was the first jersey that I did for the hand sculpted mini one.
Started with Vegas, of course.
Started with Vegas, yeah.
Shocking.
I wanted to show you these because these ones.
Ooh, so there's a Canucks one.
Were hand sculpted first, and then they were sent off to get made, and they're resin, and the detail is pretty.
It's really cool.
But they all come with decal sets, so you can
you can put your own name on the back and stuff like that.
Yeah. So they're all blank.
Okay.
Blank, and then you can put, name and number. So these were originally created. So the World Cup of Hockey, I think you probably saw. So I did the jerseys for the World Cup of Hockey. That's the USA. Oh, just wait, let me show you.
Yeah, the jersey.
That's one of my favorite jerseys. And that jersey up there, you can't see too well, but that's the
I see a Gretzky bust, I think.
That he should have got in 1996 if they would have won.
Yeah.
And that USA jersey was the exact jersey that I used to create the hand sculpted ones that every single player from USA received from me. So after they won, it took me about 6 months to complete all the entire team's jerseys. And then I sent them out. So they gave me the address to all the players, and then I sent them out to to all the players. That was pretty neat.
Heck yeah.
From that concept, that's where the mini jerseys came into play. So the ones that I do right now called My Jersey, or myjersey.com is the website, just so you know.
Okay.
Send it in there. We have Oilers, Toronto, Montreal, and Toronto, and Calgary, of course, Calgary Flames. So we have those. But those, you talk about jerseys, and it's funny because you said, doesn't matter. I think you had something big or small.
Yeah, I said something profound, no doubt. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, the Oilers jersey. So I got to show you the Oilers. So the Oilers jersey, if you look at the logo, it's actually dimensional.
Oh yeah.
It's not just
slapped on there. There's depth.
No, not at all. It's actually dimensional. So, and it's not rubber. We actually don't even tell anybody what it is. It's not rubber, but
it's a proprietary blend of the finest materials.
But we're hoping to, in 2022, come out with more jerseys. With the pandemic, with COVID, that really hit us hard, and everybody hard. It was just awful. So we actually have inventory of the 4 teams right now, and so we're just now trying to get them out there. When we reached out to stores, a lot of people weren't at the beginning. They just weren't accepting new inventory because they needed to sell what they had. But like I said before, you just got to keep moving forward and
playing with these concepts. For sure. I mean, I designed something like this for an old client where it was like they had art and they designed characters, and then they sold those characters in a jar. And the whole concept was to see what the character was doing that day. You would scan the code and it would play one of like a cycled amount of clips, similar to a toy from a child. If you push the button, would have like 50 different sayings, right? It was kind of on that concept. So like you'd buy the physical thing, but you'd still be interacting with it in a digital way. So
like Webkins.
Yes, no? It's very similar to that concept for sure. Yeah. And I mean, that's the interesting thing about what I think I like about your brain too, is like all of these like previous ideas kind of build upon each other. Yeah. And also like
why I love designing and just creating is sometimes it's just to see if some concept you're working on is going to actually work. And then you kind of park that idea on the shelf and then apply it to the idea that like is coming in the future that, like marries it and blends it together really well.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's all like, because I really care about the experience, I guess. And so I don't think about just the fact that now you've bought it, that's the end of your, feelings for it. It's like, I would like in perpetuity for this to be something that's periodically enjoyed, so, and I think that's really cool about the other businesses that you've got on. And just so everyone's clear, it's miijersey.com.
Yes.
And it's personalized me, MII.com.
Yeah. So personalized with a Z and,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, this has been awesome. We've been talking for just over an hour. That's typically, I told you, right? Like we'll just start chatting and you'll be surprised how long we go. I have two main things I'd like to do with you if we still have time. One would be kind of like this, what's your message for the folks out there type thing. And the other is I wanted to give you the gamified experience everyone else gets on here by doing some trivia with you related to design. So I was thinking we'd do trivia now because it's actually a perfect segue into what everything we've been talking about, if you're cool with that. And I promise you that you'll do okay in this. And usually the way this works is it's 3 questions. If the person gets 2 out of 3 right, they win a prize. What I was thinking might be kind of fun is if you get 2 out of 3 right, I will get something from your store and give that to another guest that they can then glorify the Me Jersey walls of their house. Right. So we also do trivia episodes periodically where like it's only trivia and we have giveaways and prizes. So I think it would be really fun to make some of your stuff part of that as well. So now the pressure's on. Now you have to get these right or else none of this matters. Am I allowed to cheat? You are allowed to cheat, but I don't think you're going to need to. But you can have your fastest finger ready on that Google if you need it. But all right. So your first question is related to your website, Personalize Me, personalize with a Z, MII.com. And if you go there, it says the following Personalize Me designs are available, ready for you to customize. Locker room. All I need is my hockey and ... where like it would be an upload of all I need for hockey is all I need in my hockey and my wife, my husband, my dad. Another one is you've mentioned the NHL Stanley Cup with any team that's ever won it, the Zodiac, the team Zodiac. So your question is based on the fact that you can offer this NHL Stanley Cup option to any team that has won the Stanley Cup, which one of these teams is not eligible because they haven't won a cup? Would it be the Calgary Flames, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Edmonton Oilers, or the Vancouver Canucks?
Oh, Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I just had to I had to make myself feel bad. Hey, right? I don't think we can count the Victoria Cougars Pacific West Hockey League Stanley Cup of 1900 whatever as part of it. But yeah.
Wow.
Bad, so sad, right? But yeah, so your hockey history. By the way, you're from Edmonton. Were you living there in like the late 80s when Gretzky and company were just running show?
I was I graduated high school in 89.
Okay.
So that's when I graduated. So no, I was born and raised in Edmonton. So
this is where
I grew up, and this is where,
Yeah, you were right in the thick of it.
I've wanted to move and try someplace else, but a lot of family here. But born and raised.
Nice. And I was born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, and moved to Chicago the year after Gretzky scored the hat trick in Game 7 to eliminate the Leafs from the playoffs and like their last good chance of winning a cup in the 90s. And then I moved to Chicago and was there when the Wirtz family thought it was a smart idea to only broadcast away games on TV and stuff. It was really strange. And then I am Canadian. And so I went to school in Vancouver, and then I wanted to travel and I ended up playing hockey and living in Australia for a couple of years. And now I'm in Denver, Colorado. So I've got quite the journey, but the other thing that's cool about that is like hockey's always meant something to me everywhere I've gone. And also like I've kind of stopped being a fan of any specific team because I've lived in like a couple major cities over time. And I follow the game now more than any given team. And it's probably healthier I do that way because the Canucks aren't so great right now. So.
Oh, wow. Well, see, and I there's different players I like on different teams as well. Sure. So, I mean, I say Vegas. The reason why I like Vegas is because I like how they came in and went as far as they did when everybody doubted them. And there was something, I don't know, there was something really neat about a team of outcasts. They were the team of outcasts, right?
Yeah, like it was, totally.
That's what drew me to Vegas. I mean, I do like Austin Matthews. I do like him. Everyone laughs at me because why do you like him? I like Austin Matthews. So I agree. There are many different teams that I like in different reasons and in different time periods. Being an artist, a sports artist in general, you can appreciate many different teams, and I had that right.
This is perfect. This is a great segue into your next question because it is about teams. And so another one of your previous projects, those jersey art collectibles, you've made some incredible jerseys and they've raised some great money in the process, both for NHL clubs and nonprofits. One of the clubs you worked with just had a player notch his 400th career goal and play in his 1000th career game. And it's St. Patrick's Week. So the hint here is it's a player by the first name of Patrick. So your question is, who is that player? Is it Patrick Marleau, Patrick Kane, or Patrick Hornquist?
I wasn't checking. I was putting my screen back on just so you know. Of course. Right?
What did you say?
Patrick Kane?
Yes, you are correct. Ding, ding, ding.
My screen goes off, like it goes to sleep. And the timing that I went in to turn it back on was when you were asking me that. So it looked like I was looking it up and I was not.
Likely story. This is hilarious. This picture just came up. Look at this. I didn't have time to get into it, but this is me meeting Steve Duchesne with the Stanley Cup when I was a kid.
Oh, wow. That's
so
fantastic.
I definitely have like a little bit of a Stanley Cup picture already, which is good because I'm a Canucks fan. So I'm fine. All right. Well, I mean, so you're 2 of 2 so far. You can't lose, so you're already in the green. And so your last question is a true false question. Okay. And this already came up. And it was a really neat project that you did involved creating these miniature hand sculpted jersey busts. And it was originally done for that World Cup tournament. And if I'm right, I think that was kind of like its origin. And so it's pretty neat for the fans listening. Everyone on Team USA that won that tournament got one of those as kind of like a trophy, right?
Yeah.
So the true false question is, the prototype Wayne Gretzky behind you, is it for sale to me? Damn it.
But I got to tell you quickly, Glenn Sather.
Oh, yeah.
I did his too. So his was, it was a framed one.
Does it have a gigantic cigar out of the side of his mouth too?
No, but I did create a Glenn Sather one, and it was in a frame. I already had the plaque, and it said, "Congratulations, World Cup of Hockey champions, 1996." Okay. So when I left, the game was over, USA won. I was coming back home, and I happened to have left his packaged up in the back of limo behind me, sitting on the back, and left it in there and came home, and I was like, where the heck is the Glen Sather? It was gone, gone for good, I thought. And then I think about 10 months later, I ran into Ann Sather, his wife, and she's thanking me for it. Oh, thank you so much. That was so nice. It's hanging up in our Banff home. And I'm like, what? So he has that trophy. He has it hanging up, I guess, in his home in Banff. And so didn't win the 1996 World Cup of Hockey championship, but he does have the trophy. So
maybe he's in his own bubble right now, maybe he's in his own bubble right now and has been since 96.
Oh, it's kind of a neat story. So
for sure.
Perfectly fine. So
I mean, just add it to the list of random championship kind of stories that come with things like the Stanley Cup, or as we're now finding out, the more famous trophy is clearly these jersey busts. So there's a lot of stories there for sure.
Well, I got to tell you, what I'm going to be doing in 2022 is we're going to take these jerseys. Did you ever see the painted horses?
No.
So they're horses. They're like sculptures of horses, and they're painted, and they represent different things. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to have Indigenous artists create. So I'm going to give them a jersey, and they're going to paint it for me. And we're going to do limited editions. And what I want to do is I want to find artists across Canada, across the US, who can paint these jerseys, go back and do some really beautiful designs and then create them as limited editions. So I've already confirmed with my manufacturer that we can reproduce them as limited editions. So
that's
Ethan
really
Miller,
cool.
It would be amazing to do an Ethan Oiler jersey and have a limited edition run of those. And I do know some artists here in Edmonton who could create it. I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't have anybody else do it unless it's truly something that they, that's what they do. So that's something that I'm looking at doing in the future as well.
Super cool.
I did agree to a documentary. So,
nice.
So I'm working on a documentary with a producer, and we're going to be moving forward with the documentary so I can share much more of the last 25 years.
Sweet. That's and congratulations. What a cool project.
Yeah. I'll have to reach out to you and say, okay, we're going to use a few clips of my first podcast.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, all of this footage is going to come at a very high price for you. I don't know, Janet, my release contracts are pretty high. I don't know how many listeners you think I have, but we're talking thousands. So, no, this has been wonderful. And it's been really, really cool getting to learn more about your creative process and kind of where your head's at with it, and just the journey that you've been on. It's really outstanding. And also just wanted to wish you the best of luck as it moves forward, because not only with the projects you've got going on in the future, but the ones that are just kind of catching on right now, I think are awesome. I think it's really, really cool.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know with there's a couple things coming down, and actually something very quickly with our personalized me that we're doing, which is pretty cool. So I'll let you know about that one. Well, you'll see it. And because it's pretty exciting. We're doing some stuff for some athletes as well. So it's pretty neat. So, but I'll keep you up to date for sure.
Hey, and I mean, just as a personal thing, like if you ever wanted to talk shop on just like experiential design and stuff, I'm a really open book. I really just like sharing concepts, and I'm not the kind of person that can really pull them off as much as just maybe this would be super cool. And I think you're the person that can actually pull them off. So that's really exciting as a possibility for us in the future too. And I'm going to try to figure out a way how to get some of your jerseys, because you're right. Like it's cool to have them on display. I love that your forward thinking is, but if you put it on the wall, then how do you see the other side? And you're like coming up with ways of combating that with providing the print or maybe doing something more digital with it. Like even myself, I'm not waiting for these things to happen. Like I have a record player, I tap the record, it Bluetooths the record to my speakers. Like I'm all about these kinds of things. I think there's some really, really, really cool concepts with jerseys that can be done and take it to the next level. So I definitely want to stay in touch about that. And then, you know, I like to give everyone before we sign off just the chance to give any shout outs or thanks, or maybe even some advice to our listeners on anything in case they're listening to you as an inspiration to themselves or just trying to break into the industry, what to do. So I'll start by saying I'd like to give a shout out to my mom. It was her birthday this week, and hope she's doing well in Canada. I really can't wait to go across the border again once it's safe to visit her. So that's the end of my thank yous. Aside from you coming on, I really, 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 really appreciate it. And the mic is yours. So thank you, Janet. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. No, the one thing that I would just tell anybody who's watching is, you know, never judge people by the failures that they've gone through. You know, that's a big one. You can see so many people are, you know, they jump on coattails. They're only around when the going's good, not when the going's rough. And you know, it's really important to look past those kind of things and you know, support people through every level that they're going through, and just be good. We need more people to be just better in our world. Just be good. Yeah, I don't know. It's not an easy thing being an entrepreneur. And, you know, I think that's why I said, you know, never judge people just based off of the negatives and the things that they've gone through. So, and I'm not saying that just with me, I'm saying that with everybody, you know, like give people a chance, you know, you got to give people a chance. And
yes, well said.
That's pretty much it.
Hey, Janet, thanks so much. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate your time. I feel like I've said that word about 50 times. But,
yeah, no, you have me on. This is great. This is wonderful. I can't wait to share this. And, you know, I have a feeling we'll be on again. We'll definitely do another
sweet. One. Well, thank you. Yeah. And have a great rest of the week and month and year ahead. And we can't wait to hear about your next big project. So thanks.
Yeah, there's some pretty big things coming down the way. So I know if anybody will be excited about it, you will. So
that's true. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.